Hello everybody. One of the most requested and mentioned topics in my videos are tips for multiplayer. I play almost exclusively solo, but figured it's about time to make a dedicated video for all of you who need something to paste in your group chat every time that one friend says, "Let me just farm for this one chest real quick," when you've already been waiting to leave the stage for the past 2 minutes. Quick disclaimer, the info I'll talk about here is catered towards monsoon difficulty, as everything will translate to the lower difficulties with no issue. If you're just playing for fun with friends and don't really care about the challenge of monsoon, then these tips will still help you out. Speaking of challenge, let's address the biggest one first: communication. Now, you don't have to be on the comms like you're playing a ranked match of insert esports game here, but you should actively communicate where you're going on the map, which chests you're looking for, and where the teleporter is. Please do not forget that one. Not having everyone on the same page is a complete nightmare in multiplayer matches, because even if one person is off doing their own thing, it can and probably will shaft your run by like stage 4. But having everyone on the same page is a little bit easier said than done, so let's talk about the page itself. What do you do in the early game? Does it differ from solo play? Should you keep the 5 minutes per stage rough pace, or take a little more time to farm so that everyone has the chance at getting good stuff? The short answer is play multiplayer like you're playing by yourself. Now, I'm not saying go and get all the items you want and completely ignore your teammates. No, that's not what I'm saying. What you should do is keep the same rules and philosophies of solo play intact while you play with others. If everyone is adhering to the same rules, the run will turn out just as successful, if not even more so, than a solo one. But again, this is easier said than done, especially with the more players that you have, which is why communication is top priority. The long answer, well, instead of hitting specific tips such as knowing when to stop farming and spawn the boss, which items you're looking for on a given survivor, and more, I'll put a link to a few videos in the description where I cover those topics in much more detail. So if you're wanting info on getting better, refer to one of the many videos I have, because I'm not going to rehash the specifics here. Rather, I'll go over some things that are unique solely to multiplayer runs. First thing you should do when starting a run is to spread out. There is no need to backtrack and cover areas where your teammates already have been. All this does is waste precious time. Spread out and look for a few chests you want to farm for. Be sure to pop any combat shrines you see for the influx of gold. Otherwise, just grab a few items and immediately go to the teleporter. I'd recommend spawning the boss roughly 2.5 minutes after entering a stage, because you can always go back and buy items after the boss is already dead, but now you have the added benefit of leaving someone at the teleporter to activate it as soon as everyone is done, rather than waiting for someone to run all the way back. Also, be sure to spread your power evenly throughout the team, meaning one person should not be hoarding everything. You can do a funnel strat where one player does literally receive all of the offensive items and acts as a hard carry, but I'd wager that most friends, let alone randoms you find in quick play, would be against this strat for more than one reason. Speaking of quick play, don't. I highly recommend avoiding quick play if you're looking to go for the tryhard runs, and rather find a group using either the official Risk of Rain 2 Discord or the cooler Woolie Discord server to find others to play with, or, you know, just have friends. Forehead. The largest issue with quick play is that your connection is entirely dependent on the host, so if they have a subpar connection, yours will be even worse, not to mention if they leave, the entire lobby is done. There is no host migration. So for those reasons and a few others, I'd stick with playing with people you know and or directly group with via other means. Before I get into any more subjective tips though, let's talk about the concrete ones, such as team comp. Who should you play if looking for the best runs possible? If you've watched a few of my other videos, you'd know that there aren't many reasons to choose one survivor over another once you get past like the first 20 minutes of a run. The items you receive are what dictate your run at that point and beyond, meaning that outside of a select few examples, which I'll cover in 1 second, there aren't any builds, quote unquote, that perform better on a given survivor over another. So for the most brain dead approach to choosing who to play, just pick your favorite and or best and split the items evenly amongst your party. It's as simple as that. But if you're here to min-max, here's my ideal comp in a 4-player monsoon run. Number 1, engineer with stationary turrets. Number 2, artificer with nano bomb, not nano spear. Number 3, the mercenary or loader. And finally, the commando, multi-hunters, or Rex. Just fill in the last spot. These are in order from highest priority to lowest, meaning that if it's just you and one other player, I'd recommend choosing engineer and artificer. If there are 3 of you, I'd go with engineer, artificer, and mercenary or loader. For the engineer, he has access to one of the few build enabling skills, his turrets. They're pretty much jack of all trades except with movement related items, because, well, you know. But the main reason is because of the bustling fungus combo. Turrets don't move. Fungus activates when not moving. More fungus equals more healing and more area. If you take a fungus while you have an engineer in your party, you are actually griefing them and deserve nothing more than chrono baubles and red whips for the rest of your life. But seriously, having the fungus combo in a multiplayer game is absolutely fantastic because everyone can take advantage of its power. Just walk over to where the engineer has his turrets and boom, you heal up. Having an engineer means you can funnel any and all healing items plus Rejuvex or Nukahana's opinions to turn them into a complete powerhouse of utility and offensive capabilities. You should definitely save some leech or regen items for yourself because you can't rely on the turrets in all situations, but get in the habit of pinging healing items and telling your engineer, come get them, boy. However, the insane healing capabilities alone are not why engineer sits in the top spot for multiplayer. It's because the turrets do more than just sit there, they actually kill stuff too. Wow, who would have thought? In terms of raw DPS in a vacuum, nothing can even come close to the engineer's output. He has 2 turrets, which are essentially mini commando clones due to inheriting all your items, so stacking attack speed, critical strike, and on-hit items make them absolute monsters for continued DPS on a single target, not to mention insane AoE as well with ukuleles, will-o-the-wisps, and the usual AoE stuff. To summarize, pick the engineer because his turrets provide direct benefits to your other team members on top of being able to do literally everything else. For Artificer, giving her high damage on hits such as ATGs and behemoths work well due to her skills having the best ratio of damage to uptime. If you or someone in your party wants to be the nuke class, then choose the Artificer and go to town. However, for getting the best runs possible, I'd recommend using Artificer as a utility survivor, using Nano Bomb and Ice Wall to keep groups of enemies at bay. Give her all the backup mags and any hardlight afterburners or alien heads that you manage to get to have even higher uptime on those CC abilities. Stun Grenade should also be relegated to Artificer because the insane proc rate of her flamethrower makes it quite a good tool at CCing the high threat targets such as Elder Lemurians and Clay Templars. Also consider giving her most of the movement related items early on so she can better get around from pack to pack and assist wherever needed. For the 3rd and 4th picks, these are kind of just up for grabs. Choose whoever you want because their only real purpose will be to kill stuff. The only point of contention would be choosing a melee survivor over a ranged one if you don't have a melee yet, because they can use the benefits of focus crystals, frost relics, and little disciples much more frequently than any non-melee survivor. But as I stated in the beginning of the video, the benefits of building survivors differently aren't that important, nor do they impact your run past the first loop or so don't feel like you need a melee survivor. Just if you're trying to min-max, having one is an obvious choice in any team comp. Alright, and that about does it with the multiplayer guide. Leave a like or dislike on the video and leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. To ask me questions in real time, you can check out my stream over at twitch.tv/Woolie Gaming and join our Discord server for a place to hang out, find others to play with, or just talk Risk of Rain 2. Thank you for watching and get ready, boys. The December update is getting closer.